Travel Tips, where we share tips about travel, where we share ideas about travel, where we we look at different things. As I said on this program, we're going to be learning a lot of things. I'm going to show you some of the secrets which maybe you did not even know regarding travel. So today I'm going to talk about getting good deals. Getting a good deal. You see, if you want to be a frequent traveler, you need to know how to save money. You know, I met some friends who said to me, "Oh, I only travel first class. I only do 5-star." But I mean, to be honest with you, if you're going to travel first class and do 5-star every time you travel, you will not be able. You won't be able to manage. You know, some, yes, for some of you who have the dosh, who have the cash, you can afford that. But personally, I can't afford to travel first class and stay 5-star every year with a family of 4. It's just not applicable. So for me, in order to keep on traveling, I have to find good deals. I have to find a way of saving money. So some people prefer to buy what we call packaged holidays. These are holidays which come with flights, hotel, transfers, everything in a package. But good as it may be for a beginner, actually, I do advise that for a beginner, when you're venturing out for the first time, that you go for a package holiday because it will cut off all the stress for you. But as you go along, you know, as you learn to play the game, it's much cheaper. You save more money if you learn to tailor your own holiday. Yeah, if you learn to book your flights separately, you learn to book your hotels separate, you learn to book your transfer separate, you end up saving much more money, because by them doing the package for you, they are actually charging you a fee on top of that. You get it? So good as it may be for starters to get a package holiday, as you go along and begin to learn the game, it's much better for you to learn to tailor your own holiday. That's one tip. Now, to me, I always do things my own way. I always package my own holiday. For flights, you know, what I do, I always book my flights way in advance, because the trick is the earlier you book, the better the deal you get. The earlier you book, the cheaper it is. So once I know that, oh, this year I want to go to such and such a destination, what I do, I look up the flights early enough. As soon as they're open, I book the flights, get them out of the way as cheap as I can get them. So then once my flights are done, then now I'm focused, I'm committed, I know I'm going because I've booked the flights are done, I'm going. Now the next thing I start to do is to look for accommodation, because I have a destination. You know, I can say, okay, I want to go to Athens. So I book the flights to Athens, and then after I book the flights, now I can look for accommodation in Athens. You get? Yeah? So there are getting a good deal on flights. We're still on flights. Getting a good deal on flights. The trick is, the farther away you fly from London, the cheaper it is. So if for example, it's more expensive to fly from London Heathrow or London City Airport, and it's way cheaper to fly from London Stansted or London Luton. So the farther away you fly from the city center, the cheaper it is for you. And then I'll show you a trick of how you can then make up that gap, because you are going to travel from London to say Gatwick. You're going to say to me, okay, I'm going to spend much more money on the cab. So if I take the money I'm going to spend on the cab and then compared to the ticket which was flying me from Heathrow, am I saving anything? I'll show you how to save in that regard. So for me, for short haul flights like EU flights, I always use budget airlines. You know, I fly budget. Why? Because it's just 2 hours, 3 hours flight. I don't care. I don't care how I get there as long as I get there. So I always use the budget airlines, and for the sake of, because this is, I'm not being paid for it, I won't tell you the names of the budget airlines, but when you go to Google and search UK budget airlines, you'll see the different budget airlines that are on offer. So I use budget airlines to save money. And as I said, the earlier you book, the cheaper it becomes. So the other trick of saving money, the other tip of saving money on flights is the earlier in the morning you fly, the cheaper your ticket is. For example, if your flight is like 6 o'clock in the morning, you'll get a very good deal as compared to a flight which is leaving at 11 or 12 in the middle of the day. So the earlier you fly, the cheaper your flight is. And again, I will show you how to save money in terms of getting to the airport early enough by not taking a cab. That's a tip. So midday flights are more expensive, and the same thing happens. The later you fly in the day or in the night, the cheaper it is. Why? Because they know you're losing out on your first day. So if you're going to arrive at your destination at past midnight, you've already lost a day of your holiday, and a night, you've paid for a night. You know, you've arrived late in the night, you've paid for that night, and you haven't done anything for the day. So they have to give you a cheaper flight to compensate. Yeah? So the later you fly in the night, the cheaper the flight is. But I always prefer to fly very early in the morning, because then I get there early enough, get to my destination early enough, like 10 in the morning, have maybe a 2 hours rest, and then I have my whole day to start off. Yeah? The other thing about saving money on flights, remember, cheap flights are mostly unchangeable. So once you make up your mind to book a cheap flight, most of them are unchangeable, which means that if you cancel somewhere along the line, you won't get your money back. So make sure you've made up your mind that you're actually traveling before you book that cheap flight, because once you book it and then you cancel, you won't get your money back. Sometimes they give you an option of getting of cancellation option, but the cancellation option is so expensive that it doesn't make it worthwhile for you to book a budget airline anyway. Another tip is making most of your connections. So how do you make most of your connections? So when you tailor your flights, when you tailor your own flights, you can make the most of your connections. What do I mean? Is you can visit different countries using the same ticket by making use of the transit. For example, if I want to go through, I'm going to Greece through Germany, what do? I get a 24-hour transit through Germany. I'm paying the same price, but then I have a day in Germany if I want to do something in Germany. So I have a whole day in Germany free of charge using my transit. So you can end up visiting 3 countries using the same ticket by making use of the transit section. So you make your transit as long as you can, use it free of charge. For example, if you're going to Uganda, you can decide to get a 2-hour transit via Dubai. So you come out of the airport, go do your shopping in Dubai, next day carry on your flight using the same ticket. So they say you kill 2 birds with 1 stone. So what's the other reason why I prefer to book my flights separately? Now, you gain what they call loyalty points. Every time you book with the same airline, you gain some of them call them air miles. So you gain air miles if you book with the same airline again and again and again. Secondly, when you tailor your own flights, you choose, as I said, you choose the times you want to fly out, and compared to a package holiday where they just give you a flight, you're flying out at 6 in the morning and you're coming back at 10 in the morning with no options for you to change your flight. But when you tailor your own flights, you will choose exactly when you want to fly out, whether you want to fly in the morning, in the midday, or evening time, and you as well have the choice to select the amount of luggage you want to take, or if you don't want to take any luggage, and you just go with hand luggage. You have so many options. Yeah. So that is the reason why I choose to tailor my own holidays, so that I can make most of the savings.